السلام علیکم مومنین. جی السلام علیکم. آپ میرے خیال میں اس تلاوت شروع کر دیتے ہیں، ٹائم ہو گئے.
جی بسم اللہ.
درود بر محمد و آل محمد.
بسم اللہ الرحمن الرحیم. آج میں آپ حضرات کی خدمت میں سورہ انفطار کی تلاوت کا شرف حاصل کرتا چاہتا ہوں. اعوذ باللہ من الشیطان اللعین الرجیم. بسم اللہ الرحمن الرحیم. اذا السماء انفطرت وَإِذَا الْكَوَاكِبُ انتَصَرَتْ وَإِذَا الْبِحَارُ فُجِّرَتْ وَإِذَا الْقُبُورُ بُعْثِرَتْ عَلِمَتْ نَفْسٌ مَّا قَدَّمَتْ وَأَخَّرَتْ يَا أَيُّهَا الْإِنسَانُ مَا غَرَّكَ بِرَبِّكَ الْكَرِيمِ الَّذِي خَلَقَ فَسَوَّاكَ فَعَدَلَكَ فی ای صورت ما شاء رکبک کلا بل تکذبون بالدین وإن علیکم لحافظین کراما کاتبین یعلمون ما تفعلون ان الابرار لفی نعیم وإن الفجار لفی جحیم يسألونها يوم الدين وما هم عنها بغائبين وما أدراك ما يوم الدين ثم ما أدراك ما يوم الدين يوم تملك نفس لنفس شيئا والأمر يومئذ لله. جب آسمان تڑپ جائے گا اور جب تارے جھڑ پڑیں گے اور جب دریا بہہ کر ایک دوسرے سے مل جائیں گے اور جب خبریں اکھیڑ دی جائیں گی تب ہر شخص کو معلوم ہو جائے گا کہ اس نے آگے کیا بھیجا تھا اور پیچھے کیا چھوڑا تھا. اے انسان، تجھے اپنے کریم پروردگار کے بارے میں کس چیز نے دھوکہ دیا؟ جس نے تجھے پیدا کیا، تجھے درست بنایا اور مناسب اعضاء دیے، اور جس صورت میں اس نے چاہا تیرے جوڑ بند ملائے. ہاں، بات یہ ہے کہ تم لوگ جزا کے دن کو جھٹلاتے ہو، حالانکہ تم پر نگہبان مقرر ہیں، بزرگ فرشتے، سب باتوں کے لکھنے والے، کرامن کاتبین. جو کچھ تم کرتے ہو وہ سب جانتے ہیں. بے شک نیکوکار بہشت کی نعمتوں میں ہوں گے اور بدکار لوگ یقیناً جہنم میں جزا کے دن اسی میں جھونک دیے جائیں گے، اور وہ لوگ اس سے چھپ نہ سکیں گے. اور تمہیں کیا معلوم کہ جزا کا دن کیا ہے؟ پھر تمہیں کیا معلوم کہ جزا کا دن کیا ہے؟ اس دن کوئی شخص کسی شخص کی بھلائی نہ کر سکے گا، اور اس دن حکم صرف خدا ہی کا ہوگا. صدق اللہ العلی العظیم. اس کا انگریزی ہے کہ In the name of Allah, compassionate and merciful, when the sky is cleft asunder, and when the planets are dispersed, and when the oceans are poured forth, and when the graves are overturned, each soul will know what it has sent forward and what it has kept back. O man, what has beguiled you from your Lord, the Bountiful, who created you, then fashioned, then proportionate you. In whatever form he wished, he formed you. No, you deny the last judgment. Yet there are guardians watching over you, noble recorders, who know of all that you do. The righteous surely will dwell in bliss, while the wicked surely will be in blazing fire. In it they will burn on the day of judgment. They will not escape it. What will convey to you what the day of the judgment is? Again, what will convey to you what the day of judgment is? A day on which no soul has power at all on any other. The absolute command on that day is Allah's. Sadaqallahul Aliyul Azim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala Muhammad.
اللہم صلی علی محمد وعلی محمد. جزاک اللہ جناب کا میرا عبدی بھائی. اب میں سید فیضان علی مصطفیٰ اور ان کے ساتھیوں سے ملتمس ہوں کہ وہ سوز خوانی شروع کریں. جزاک اللہ.
صلوات.
صلی علی محمد و آل
محمد وجل فرجہم.
رسن ظلم ننھی سی کلائی ہوگی مجرئی کیسے سکینہ کو مجرئی کیسے سکینہ کو کلائی ہوگی. نوجوان جو سنا پینے پکھائی ہوگی مجرے خیم سے زینہ مجرے خیم سے زینہ نکل آئی ہوگی. شب عاشور یہ آتی تھی صدائے زہرا قلبوں میں بھرے گھر کی صبح کو میرے بھرے گھر کی صفائی ہوگی. بیبیاں کہتی تھیں یہ رات غنیمت جانو کل تو ایک جان بلا کھو کل تو ایک جان بلا کھو کی چڑھائی ہوگی. رسن ظلم میں اے مومنو کیا سخت یتیمی کی بلا ہے زخم کا مرہم ہے نا اس غم کی دوا ہے. پوچھو تو یتیموں سے کہ یہ واقعہ کیا ہے کس عمر میں یہ سکینہ کو ملا ہے جب فاطمہ شاہ سرفراز ہوا تھا. لکھا ہے کہ چوتھا پرا آغاز ہوا تھا. اس سن میں کوئی باپ جدا ہونا پسر سے ہوئی طفلی میں سکینہ کو پدر سے پوچھے کوئی یہ درد یتیموں کے جگر سے بچپن میں پدر اٹھاؤ بچپن میں پدر اٹھاؤ جن بچوں کے سر سے آغاز سندوہ کا انجام قضا ہے یہ داغ یتیمی نہیں یہ داغ یتیمی نہیں پیغام خدا ہے رسم کے طفلی میں پدر مرتا ہے جس کا دیتے ہیں اسے غیر بھی شفقت سے دلاسا پر سر سے اٹھا جب سکینہ کے شیوالا بیداد کی سمر نے بیداد کی سمر نے واہ حسرت و درد ہے چاہ کبھی پاسو کبھی سوئے سکینہ آزردہ تماچوں سے آزردہ تماچوں سے کیا روئی سکینہ زندہ میں مقید ہوئے جس دم حرم شاہ امبو خلائق ہوا دروازے پناگاہ بلوا اس درجہ کے مزدود ہوئی راز شرم سے زنجیر پار شرم سے زنجیر پار عابد نے رکھا وہ رفع شرم اسیروں کے بدن میں روتا دھارے گلو روتا دھارے گلو ہمیں جارے زمان کے مشغول جو تھے میں اطفال وہ سارے کرتی تھی سکینہ وہاں حسرت سے نظارے کہتی تھی کہ کیا ہو گئے ہم جو ہمارے بابا علی اصغر کو بابا علی اصغر کو کہاں لے کے صدارے سب بچے یہاں کھیلتے ہے خندہ زنا ہے میں کھیلتی تھی جس سے میں کھیلتی تھی جس سے وہ اطفال کہاں ہے ارے ناگاہ نمودار ہوئی شام غریبا آیا غضب آلود وہاں شمر بدیماں ایک سے مخاطب ہوا وہ دشمن یزدان اب جاؤ کہ ہوتا ہے اب جاؤ کہ ہوتا ہے مقابل سر زندہ ہوئے گرہائی نہ کبھی آل ابا کی کل دیکھو پھر سے کل دیکھو پھر سے اسیران بلا کی یہ سن کے پریشان ہوا امبو وہ سارا گم ہو گیا ایک شخص کا فرزند قزارا चिल्लाया पिदर उसका रहा दिल पना यारा फर्जंद भी बाबाओं से कह के पुकारा लिपटने जो लगा के पिदर से पैदा हुए का के दिगार से भर के दमे सर्द ये की बानों से गुप्ता इस बच्चे को देखो तो कि क्या खुश है ये दिलदार क्या नाम पिदर प्यार से लेता है ये हर बार हम के बाप के और खत में गिरा दिल में जो मेरे दर्द है हाल पाया है मैं किसको कहूँ बाप मेरा बाप कहाँ है अरे बाबा मेरे होते तो उन्हें कहती मैं बाबा अब बाप कहाँ जिसको कहूँ बाप मैं दुखिया यूं कोई पिदर बेटी से गाफिल नहीं होता हैरान हूँ बाबा के कुछ पाप हुए क्या आदा ने हमें कैद किया शामिल कर बाबा मेरे क्यों मुझको नहीं ढूंढ लिया के सकीना बजो रिक़त हुई तारी बस हाय पिदर कह के कई बार पुकारी तड़पी जो जमीन पर तो जमीन हिल गई सारी झुझला के काशिम ने मेरे करती हो सारी अब खूब रुलाऊंगा तुझे मैं ना डरूंगा रह तुझको असीरों से जुदा करूंगा अरे फिर शिमर ने बाजुए सकीना को जो पकड़ा कुनबे की तरफ उसने अजब यहाँ से देखा सब कैदियों में कयामत हुई बर्पा सजाद के कदमों पर मचल कर गिरी दुखिया यूं लिपटी थी भाई से वो इस खौफ खतर में हाथों गर्दन पे ना एक हाथ कमाने मुँह दे के सजा का कहती थी वो डर कर अब आप मेरे रोने के जामिन हो बरादर कर तुमसे छुटी जीस मेरी होवेगी क्यों कर अब रो तो जो चाहे
ابر ستم
بھیا مجھے تو شمر سے اس وقت بچا لے، اب
رو تو کر دیجیے،
رو تو کر دیجیے،
ظالم کے حوالے،
اب روئی سو میں روئی، نہ پھر روں گی زنہار، اب رو اگر پاپو اپنے تو گناہگار، فرماؤ کہ اب چھوڑ دے مجھ کو یہ جفاکار،
بازو میرا دکھنے لگا،
بازو میرا دکھنے لگا، بازو میرا دکھنے لگا،
اے عابد بیمار،
کس طرح جدا کن میں سے ہوئے گی سکینہ، تم کہہ دو قسم کھا کے، تم کہہ دو قسم کھا کے، نہ
روئے گی سکینہ،
یہ کہتی تھی کھینچا جو ستم گر نے قذارا، کرتا تو پھٹا تھا سو پھٹا اور بھی سارا، تب عابد بیمار لے رو کر یہ پکارا،
اے شمر ابن پاک کے،
اے شمر ابن پاک کے،
بچی ہے خدا را،
غافل تیری دہشت سے نہ ہوئے گی سکینہ، اب ایسا ڈری ہے کہ، اب ایسا ڈری ہے کہ نہ روئے گی سکینہ۔
احسان احسان بیٹا، جزاک ماشاء اللہ۔
مومنین مومنات، آپ سے گزارش ہے ایک دفعہ سورہ فاتحہ کی اور 3 دفعہ سورہ اخلاص کی۔ مرحوم سید ابوالحسن جعفری، سیدہ سریا جعفری، اس میں اپنے بھی مرحومین کو شامل کر لیں، جتنے بھی محبان محمد و آل محمد مرحومین ہیں ان سب کو شامل کر لیں۔
اعوذ باللہ من الشیطان۔
اب میں ڈاکٹر شیبہ رضوی صاحب سے ملتمس ہوں کہ وہ اپنا خطاب شروع کریں۔ درود بر محمد و آل محمد، اللہم صلی علی محمد و آل محمد وجل فرجہم۔
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله الذي لا يبلغه مدحته القائلون ولا يحصي نعماءه العادون ولا يؤدي حقه المجتهدون، الذي لا يدركه بعد الهمم ولا يناله غوص الفتن، الذي ليس لصفته حد محدود ولا نعت موجود ولا وقت معدود ولا أجل ممدود، فطر الخلائق بقدرته ونشر الرياح برحمته وابتدى بالصخور ميدان أرضه، أول الدين معرفته، ثم الصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين، خير المبشرين والمنذرين، شفيع ذنوبنا وطبيب نفوسنا وحبيب قلوبنا، سيدنا ومولانا أبي القاسم محمد، اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين، صلوات الله عليهم أجمعين، الذين أذهب الله عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا، اللهم صل
على محمد
لعنة الله على أعدائهم أجمعين، Amma ba'du, bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Jazakallah khair for the marsiyah. Tamam bhaiyon ko bibi ajr azim ata farmaye. Mu'minin or mu'minat, it is my honor to once again have this opportunity on our Sundays to continue our discussions on Nahjul Balagha. Today is of course, as well, Nisa al-Isra Majlis, and the topic that was given to me, because last week we finished Sermon 91, Khutbatul Ashbah. We finished last Sunday, and this Sunday, the intention was to start something new from the book. However, the instructions given to me by our organizers were to talk about today the reasons or the purpose. Maqsad was the word that was used, so maqsad, I'll translate that as purpose. The maqsad of our existence, the purpose of our existence, the purpose of Karbala, and the purpose of Intizar, and what we are doing right now. Three questions in one, and probably three questions that will elaborate on everything. So it's very comprehensive, and those three questions are huge questions, and to talk about them in the few minutes that I have, of course, is quite impossible. However, we will go a little bit into it. Purpose of our existence, purpose of Karbala, purpose of maqsad of Intizar. So what are these aham maqasid, these very important reasons? I have been taking cue in the past so far since we started these Sunday sessions from the organizers as to what will be presented and which sermon. So it's been a process that has relieved me of the burden of selection of what I should be talking about. And that is always a blessing for me, because the hardest thing which I spend the most time on is on what to talk about. Talking about it and researching it and planning it and implementing it is the easy part. The hard part is what. So this was a challenge for me. Three questions. And I decided on this sermon to touch upon our topics for today. This is sermon number 83 in Nahjul Balagha. I'm still using the same website. And we are calling this, it has been called Khutbatul Gharra. وهي من الخطبة العجائبة تسمي الغرة. So this is the khutbah that is called al-gharra, which is esteemed, very, very honored. This khutbah was called al-gharra by the people who listened to the sermon delivered by Amir al-Mu'mineen as-salatu was-salamu alayhi. And after he delivered it, they were shaking with tears in their eyes. And they got up saying, هذا خطبة الغرة. This is the khutbatul gharra. In this khutbah, the reason I chose it was because our purpose is to look at this word purpose, maqsad. And so we'll begin from here, and then we'll get a little bit into the first few paragraphs of this, and then I'll branch off onto trying to talk about the questions we have. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Praise be to Allah. Alhamdulillah alladhi. Praise be to Allah, who is high above all else and is near the creation through his bounty. What a beautiful qurbah this is. Amir al-Mu'mineen is saying that Allah is near to us through the bounties. That is how he comes near to us. When we come near to each other, we come near to each other by the giving of gifts as well. It is a very, very ahsan practice that is implemented and recommended in our religion, to when we visit each other on certain occasions to give each other gifts, and this brings us nearer to each other. There are tokens that are representing an inner desire to be closer to someone, to please someone. And that is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is doing with us when we see he is giving us bounties, whether it be sight or hearing or the ability to think, the ability to feel, the ability to move, whatever abilities he has given us and the endless bounties around us. Each one of those is a gift. To realize it is a gift, and to realize the gift giver is giving you a gift without you even knowing without putting it in a parcel, without announcing it, without even coming and saying it, sometimes makes us take that gift giver for granted. But to realize everything is a gift is a cause for unlimitless thankfulness. He is the giver of all reward and distinction and dispeller of all calamities and hardships. I praise him for his continuous mercy and his copious bounties. I believe in him as he is the first of all, and he is manifest. Awwalul awwaleen, and the one who is the most zahir. He is manifest, even though he is the most hidden. Amir al-Mu'mineen is saying he is manifest with a capital M. He is the most manifest, because everything that is manifested because of him. I seek guidance from him as he is near and is the guide. So his guidance to be sought from him is for many reasons. And one of them, of course, is that he is the guide, but also that he is near. To realize that he is nearer than all other nearness is important. And to know that things that are near to you so you can realize that he is the nearest. So when we feel near to our parents, our family, our siblings, our partners, our friends, anyone, or to something, then we should immediately realize that there is one who is nearer. That constant reminder, that is our true attachment to him. I seek his succor and his might and his subduance, for he is the mighty, he is the subduer. And so anytime that we need any help of any kind, we should know that it is him that we depend upon. He is the sufficer, he is the supporter. And even if others are supporting us, it is because of inspiration by him. And I stand witness that Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad, is his slave and his prophet. He sent him for enforcement of his commands, for exhausting his pleas and presenting warnings against eternal punishments. So here we are getting one objective, because maqsad is our topic, and one objective is being given to us here, the objective of sending the blessed messenger sallallahu alaihi wa alihi wasallam, enjoying people to piety, taqwa. This is the wasiyah of taqwa. O creatures of Allah, I advise you to have fear of Allah, who has furnished illustrations and who has timed for you your lives. So all around us, these illustrations are the symbols. These symbols are guiding you towards fearing him, are reminding you that everything is temporary in this state. He has given you covering of dress, something that people take for granted, something that nowadays people just want to have less and less of. But Amir al-Mu'mineen is saying that this is a bounty. This is a bounty. To clothe yourself is a blessing. It allows us to have dignity and honor, and it distinguishes us from all other creatures upon this world, for none other than the human is wearing the dress. And who has timed for you your lives? It is him who has timed it, and he knows best how long we should be there. We think we should be there forever. Take your children to the park, what happens? All parents with young children know this. You take your children to the park, they never want to come home. Once they get there, you have to remind them, come on, it's time to go, it's time to go. And why does the parent want them to go? Because it is better for the child. But the child is only seeing one aspect of their existence. They are not seeing what is after. So for them, it is torture and punishment, but the timing is from the parent. And if we have faith in our Lord, we know his timing for us to leave this place is with perfection as well. He has scattered for you your livelihood. And so we see that the livelihood is scattered around us, and we do have to get up and leave our homes, or at least go to the computer if it's online livelihood, and we have to gather it. He has surrounded you with his knowledge. His knowledge surrounds us, but do we see that knowledge? And if knowledge surrounds us, are we taking it in? And if we're taking it in, are we taking it the way he is teaching us? If his knowledge surrounds us, his teaching surrounds us. If his teaching surrounds us, everything that occurs around us in terms of the objects and the actions that are occurring that influence us, they're all part of his teaching. He is teaching you every day. We only see the teacher that stands in front of class. We only see the lessons that are taught in the book. But every moment and with every breath, he teaches us something. He is the greatest teacher. He has ordained rewards. He has bestowed upon you vast bounties and extensive gifts. Only Amir al-Mu'mineen would know what these vast bounties, these ni'mat are, what these extensive gifts are, because kulla shay'in ahsaynahu fi imamin mubin. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. All is contained within him that has been counted. The countless has been counted, and the infinite has been put within Amir al-Mu'mineen. And he himself says, O Salman, the greatest ni'mat that can be given, the greatest ata that can be given is the marifat of the vilayat of Ali ibn Abi Talib. As-salatu was-salamu alayhi. So if he is the greatest ni'mat, this is wa atmamtu alaykum ni'mati. So this is the greatest ni'mat, saying that he has given for you great ni'mat. He has bestowed upon you vast bounties, extensive gifts, warned you through far-reaching arguments. He's warned us through far-reaching arguments. The arguments are there. It is but for us to see. He has fixed our ages. He has counted us by numbers. He has fixed our ages. All the numerical aspects of our life are calculated, and they have been presented in formulas as laws of the universe. And this place is a place of test and a house of instruction. Oh, Amir al-Mu'mineen, I thought this place was a place where I would enjoy myself, where I would gain bounties, where I would gain wealth, where I would spend that wealth, where I would accumulate more of it, where I would please my five senses, where I would establish myself and my fame and my status in this world, where people would look upon me with high regard, where I would have abundant family and abundant homes and abundance of everything. And I would spend some of it on other people and spend some of it on myself. And I thought this world was all about that. But you are telling me this world is a home of, it is a house of instruction. It is simply a place of test. That means it's a classroom. It is but a classroom, yet I want to build my home in this classroom, my mansion, my ranches. I want to have many, many automobiles in this classroom. I want to accumulate more and more. I don't want to receive the instruction, pass the test, and move on. Do I want to do everything but the main purpose? So maqsad is coming clearer to us now. This place of test and house of instruction. Oh, if I but woke up in the morning with an idea that I am in a college, a school, a university, indeed, my perspective would be very different. For when I walk into a place of entertainment, my perspective is different. When I walk into a place of education, my purpose is different. My clothing is different. My intent is different. My focus is different. My niyyah, everything changes. So where am I? Is being answered for me over here. But this place has so many illusions. You're on test in this world and have to render account about it. The result will be presented to you. We will get that report card. With online testing now, my students in college they get their test result right away. And we do have to wait a bit, but in a sense, the test result is there too, because we all know what the result is. Or at least we have an idea. And yes, none of us can look at that result at the end. When that last moment comes and we know that this is the end now, to know what our result is, it's very difficult. We wait for the announcement of it by the angels. We wait for the announcement of it by the Masumin. It is only he who can see that moment and in that last moment say, Fustu bi Rabbil Kaaba. That is the ultimate announcement from the one who has done self-accountability with complete knowledge of what has passed, what test was there, what test was given, what test was passed. Only he can say that, because the Masumin, despite their trials and tribulations, did not come here to prove themselves to him. For he created them in perfection. He does not require proof now. That if he required proof and he was, that would mean that there was some kind of a deficiency in that perfection. However, we need to understand the difference between the student and the master. The master is not there to take this test. He is there rather to write the examination. He is there to hold the examination. Imam Hussein is the examiner in Karbala, not the examinee. Everyone is giving the test around Hussein. Amir al-Mu'mineen is not giving a test 25 years in silence in Medina. He is the examiner, and everyone around him, except for a few, are failing that test. And he is the one who is telling us that we have to account for it. Who better to tell us? Man kuntum mawla. We see this, what this mawla is. This mawla is the master. The master is the one who has come to take the test. They have written the questions for which the answers you are seeking. Certainly this world is a dirty watering place. This is for the people of Arabia. For us, maybe we would have to, visit some place outside of your civilized abodes, where you would see that when the dwellers of the desert went to a watering place, they wanted clean water. But when they got there and the water was dirty, then the question was, how do we survive on this water? And cleansing it to a point where it can be drunk, but realizing that I will only drink from it as much as I need to survive after it has been cleansed, take a minimum just to stay alive and move on. This is not enjoyable or good for me. That is the way of the pleasures of all the world we see. For when we sit at the table, when we are partaking in anything that has to do with accumulating things from the world, all of these situations, how much do I take from here? Just what I need. I go to the market and I buy. How much do I need? When do I reach israf? When do I want something in my life, but maybe Sharia is getting in the way, so let me go and get a fatwa about this so that I can enact my will and desire. This is where caution may have been a good idea, where okay, there's these things that are floating around in the dirty, muddy water. They look bright, shiny, and tasty. Maybe I want them, but they are coming from that dirty water, so maybe I'll just avoid it. Instead, we take it out and then we want to ask somebody, can I eat this, please? Can I eat this, please? Now, I'm not saying that every time someone goes to seek a fatwa is doing this. No, there are noble reasons, honorable reasons, good intentions for that as well. But many a time you will find that in our heart, we know something is maybe iffy. And that's when we go and we want a decision. But that iffiness is not enough for us to avoid it. Instead, we are desiring it. So we need to understand when we are looking for an answer to a question, can I do this or not? Then it becomes important to know our own niyyah. Our niyyah is very important when we go seek the guidance of an alim, the narrator, alim-e-din, our ulama, the narrator of the ahadith of the Masumeen, to know about the ruling of something. Realize you are taking from muddy water. Its appearance is attractive. So it is muddy, dirty water, but its appearance is attractive. This is the problem. It looks very nice, but they seem so nice. These people who are taking me away from Allah, all these friends I have that want me to join them and be disobedient, everything seems so nice. Look, everybody's going towards this. Everybody's buying it. This doesn't seem like a harmful idea. Inside, it is very destructive. It is a deception. So do not be deceived and do not judge the book by its cover and do not look for the sirat in the surat. We are very much sometimes inclined towards that, looking for the sirat in the surat. We do not see the nur of taqwa and zuhud sometimes. Sometimes we look upon a person and we judge them by their looks. Kitna nurani chehra hai. And oftentimes that needs them to be fair-skinned and nice-looking, and our cultural ideas of what is Nurani. Rarely will I see one from my community call someone who is a little maybe on the darker side of pigmentation as being Nurani. Sometimes they do. I'm not talking about everybody. Just general comments, this general perception that we have in our community. Things, surat and sirat and things, and that's what this world does. That's what it knows, how to make everything beautiful, nice looking. Look at your cell phone and social media and the way everything is presented, and it just seems so sometimes maybe attractive. Hopefully not, but it is a deception, a vanishing reflection, a reflection, but it is vanishing, a bent pillar, something that is about to break, a reflection that will disappear when its despiser, the one who hated the world, begins to like it. And he who is not acquainted with it feels satisfied with it. So the one who is satisfied with this external glamour, the one who was staying away from it, but now starts to get attracted to it. Sabbit qalbi ala dinik, may we stay on the path every breath of our life. Then it raises and puts down its feet in joy. Now the dunya is happy and it declares its victory over us, traps us within its own entrapment, makes us the target of its arrows, and puts around our neck the rope of death, dragging us to our narrow grave. What an incredible visualization of what the world does to a person. Here is a person enjoying themselves. You look at the world of celebrities, you look at the world of glitz and glamour, you look at what attracts our young ones, and they are drawn to it, and it seems like the world is at their feet. Everybody likes them, and they are so popular, and they are living their life and their freedom and enacting the purpose of their existence. No, Amir al-Mu'mineen says there is a rope around their neck, and this rope is being used to drag them towards this narrow grave. Islands they have right now, mansions in every major partying city, but the final abode to which they are being dragged is but this narrow piece of cavity in the earth. And the fearful abode, in order to show him his place of stay and recompense for your acts. And this is where the accountability starts. This goes from generation to generation. Neither death stops them from cutting asunder. Neither death stops them from loving the world. They continue despite seeing it again and again and again. Nor do the survivors keep aloof from cutting of sins. The ones who have gone now, they're not coming back, and nothing can bring them back. And the ones who are here are still not taking any kind of lesson from it. They copy each other. We emulate each other, proceeding in groups towards the final. This is the herd. We are walking with the herd. Remember, my young ones especially, that kathirum la yu'minun, most of them do not believe. Most of them are being dragged in the wrong direction. We must not have the herd mentality. We are to answer for ourselves. We must have our own conviction that must come from internal essence, must come from our qalb, our aql, our iman, our marifah. And the rendezvous of death. Rendezvous is when you go to meet someone, when you go to meet that which you has been preordained. When you are rendezvous is also when you are going back towards a final destination, and we are returning. Matters come to a close, world dies, and resurrection draws near. Allah will take them out of the corners of their graves, the nests of birds, the dens of beasts, and the centers of death. They hasten towards his command, run to the fixed place for their final return, group by group, quiet, standing in rows. He is now presenting the accountability, where we will now get our report card. They will be in his sight, in Allah's sight, and will hear everyone who would call them. We will be listening to everything, seeing everything that is happening around us. They will have the dress of helplessness, this helplessness and covering of submission and indignity. This is not the end of the mu'min though. So this is what we are trying to avoid. contrivances would disappear, desires would be cut, hearts would sink quietly, voices would be curbed down, sweat would choke the throat, fear would increase and ears would resound with the thundering voice of the announcer calling towards the final judgment. Allahu Akbar. If Amir al-Mu'mineen is saying this in Kufa, I can see the people trembling in fear. And the striking of punishment and the paying of reward. People have been created as a proof of his power. This is one of the purposes now, maqsad, proof of his power, and have been brought up with authority. They have been made to die through pangs, through pain, and placed in graves where they turn into crumbs, zarre. Then they would be resurrected one by one and awarded their recompense and would have to account for their actions. Even in being disintegrated and put together, these disbelievers are being told that this is the might of Allah who can take you apart and bring you together. Yes, if you believe in the vilayah of Ma'sumin, of Amir al-Mu'mineen, then you are forever. Now fana is not for you. Now your body will not decompose. Your body will not be turned into crumbs, because that is the Hayy who is declared where Hayat is. And Al-Hayy al-Qayyum said Hayat is in the vilayah of Amir al-Mu'mineen. Kullu man alayha fan wa yabqa wajhu rabbika. The face of your Lord, Amir al-Mu'mineen. So if we do not want this, that is where we tie ourselves to. That is where we attach ourselves. They have been allowed to seek deliverance. They can seek deliverance. We have permission for shifa, had been shown the right path, and had been allowed to live and seek favors. The darkness of doubts had been removed, and they had been let free in this period of life as a training place in order to make preparation for the race on the day of judgment, to search. So now we're being given our objectives, our maqasid again, that they had been let free in this period of life as a training place. We are being trained. This is a training ground. Have you ever seen the most intense training, how rigorous it is? In order to make preparation, this training was for preparation, to search for the objective. Now we are to search for our maqsad with thoughtfulness. We must use tafakkar to find our maqsad, find our purpose, to get time necessary to secure benefits and provide for the next place of stay. We are here gathering for a journey that is to come. So we know the journey, we know how to prepare. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So this is the constitutional right and declaration of the purpose of humanity. So in this, we see happiness. And what is happiness? And he says happiness is nothing without piety. So life, liberty, and piety. How appropriate are these illustrations and effective admonitions, provided they are received by pure hearts, open ears, firm views, and sharp wits. This is what is needed to understand the hikmah, the teachings of Allah, and to know the test we are giving. Pure hearts, this must be khulus. The ears must not have the barrier upon them where Allah has closed their ears, and firm views. They must be with yaqeen and sharp wits. They must have their aql refined. Fear Allah like him who listens to good advice and bows before it. Accept the advice when it is good. When he committed sin, he admits it. When he felt fear, he acted virtuously. When he apprehended, he hastened towards the good acts. When he believed, he performed the virtuous acts. When he was asked to take lesson, he did take the lesson. When he was asked to desist from evil, he abstained. When he responded to the call of Allah, he leaned towards him. When he turned back away from evil, he repented. When he followed, almost imitated. And when he was shown the right path, he saw it. We must imitate what Amir al-Mu'mineen has left before us as the Uswa Hasana, and we must follow the Sirat. If we know Sirat al-Mustaqim is Amir al-Mu'mineen, then now we have to follow it. Such a man is busy in search of truth. We are looking for haqq and got rid of these worldly evils. We have run away from them. We have collected good acts for ourselves, purified our inner self, taskiyah nafs. We have built our home in the next world. We have taken what we need for this journey, and we have taken what is required, and we have achieved the status that will allow us to stand with some honor and dignity upon that final day, not be cowering in fear due to what we have done and what our hands have accomplished and what we have sown. He sent ahead of him for the abode of his stay in the next world. He knows where he is going, that place, that home that is waiting for us. Fear Allah in view the reason why he created you, and be afraid of him to the extent he has advised you. Make yourself deserve what he has promised you. Make yourself deserve what he has promised you. He has promised it to us already. Now we have to come up to that level to deserve it. It's like he has given you the A grade. You start with an A+ in this world. You are in this world pure, Masoom. You become Baligh. You are starting with 100% grade. All you have to do is maintain it and have confidence in the truth and in his promise. Have confidence in that. Confidence will not be by wearing clothes shamelessly. Confidence will not be by dancing in front of the world. Confidence is going to be in believing in his promise and entertaining fear for the day of judgment. And so in this, there is a portion here which I think, yes. So in this, what we see is the objective. The objective. What is the objective being given to us here? And now I'm going to just unshare this. I think, one moment, sorry.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
There it is. And so now that was a little longer than I wanted, but I just want to spend a few minutes and let's look at maqsad kya hai, hum kyun aaye hain, maqsad hota kya hai, what is purpose? And I was looking at the definition of purpose, and it said the reason for something to exist. The reason something exists is its purpose. So therefore we exist. So what is our purpose? Now, when we look at trying to understand the purpose, what happens is we know when something exists, it is moving, it fulfills something else. It fulfills a role, it moves towards something, it reaches a destination, or it accomplishes an act. And by this we understand maqsad pura ho raha hai. The purpose is being fulfilled. So insan ka maqsad jo hai, खिलकत का मकसद किस तरह पूरा होता है? जब हम कुछ अमल करते हैं, कुछ इरादा करते हैं, किसी नतीजे तक पहुंचते हैं, तो हमारा मकसद सामने आता है. मकसद, purpose is different from effect. Cause will have an effect. Our existence is the cause, they will also have an effect. लेकिन illat malul, cause and effect, is about nature, fitrat. लेकिन जब हम मकसद की बात करते हैं, मकसद is purpose. Purpose of existence is going to be there before the existence. So before our existence, irada zaruri hai. Maqsad ke liye irada zaruri hai. Illat malul ka ताल्लुक फितरत से है, nature से है. That means कोई इरादा है. तो हमारी खिलकत से पहले कोई इरादा है. Before Karbala, there is an irada. Before the intizar, there is an irada. Now, if we look at Amir al-Mu'mineen's discussion on objective, we start to realize that Allah has an irada, and in this irada, everything is being fulfilled. And in this irada, we are seeing that purpose. So that means there's a primary purpose, which is our own, which is from Allah, subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then there's also that purpose that Amir al-Mu'mineen says you are looking for in your life. So when we look at our purpose in this stage of life, we see that Amir al-Mu'mineen very clearly tells you that it is so that you go to the day of accountability and you stand with dignity and pride on that day. Now, is that the purpose of our existence? No, that is the purpose of this hayat, in this world only, to stand on the day of judgment. Because then when we move beyond that, this purpose has been fulfilled. ये मकसद पूरा हो गया, खत्म हो गया, अब अगला मकसद शुरू है. Now, are we going to stop to exist after the next maqsad? No. Kullu man alayha fan. Jahannam is that ceasing of maqsad. Jahannam is a place of no maqsad, of no intent, We did not intend what Allah intended. Allah gave us a chance to intend, to find our objective. We chose not to. We don't want objective. We don't want purpose. We don't want existence. Now we have Jahannam for this. But if we have moved on to Jannah, now there is a new maqsad, there is a new existence, and that is the next stage. That is part of our maqsad right now, but it is only unfolding when we get there. The purpose of primary school is not to graduate from primary school, but when you graduate from primary school, you go to secondary school. The child of primary school will not understand what is going to happen in secondary school, but once they get there and they implement what they have learned in primary school, now they will understand the purpose of their primary school. They will not understand the purpose of secondary school and what they're learning. Why do I have to learn this? Well, until they get to high school. We are going through this life with a minimal understanding of our end goal. We have not been explained the next phase. We have not been explained. We have been told there are gardens, there's some nice mountains, there's beautiful grass, and you're going to eat fruits. That's great. We're going to have lots of fruits, milk and honey and rivers, and we're going to do whatever we want. But the main thing in Jannah that we need to remember, because I mean, children of today say that, you know, well, I got milk and honey and I got all that, but will we have Wi-Fi in Jannah? So when you are told that whatever you want, mil jayega, jo chahte ho, jo chahoge, man yasha. That is the manzil of man yasha. Right now it is what Allah yasha. Then it will be what you yasha. So what your chahat is, jo chahoge mil jayega. This means that now you are basically whatever you want, you will get. But what is what you want? What you want is what your objective is. तुम्हारा मकसद क्या है? अब हमारा मकसद पूरा हो रहा है जो हमने ढूंढा था, जो हम ढूंढ रहे थे मकसद. अब अगर मेरा मकसद था मारफत विलायत अमीरुल मोमिनीन, मुझे उसी में लुत्फ आता था. सारी जिंदगी मैंने यही चाहा कि मौला बस जन्नत पहुंचे, आपकी मारिफत में इजाफा होता जाए, पर्दे हटते जाएं. I have found my objective. अब मैं जो चाह रहा हूं वहां पे मिल रहा है. This is to find our objective in this world, objectives in this world, so that when we go to the next place, we are able to implement them. But we will never truly understand what that is until we are there. So that is why, okay, our objective, our existence in Karbala. Karbala kyun hui? Allahu Akbar. Karbala is infinite in its maqasid, in its lessons, in its teachings. No one can summarize it, and not me anyway. They can summarize it. I cannot summarize it into one purpose, one intent. Lekin haan, ek cheez jo bahut zahir hoti hai Karbala se. That is that this world, you see, Surat and Sirat. Amir al-Mu'mineen said, is dunya ki surat aur hai, sirat aur hai. Bahar se khoobsurat, andar se khatarnak. बाहर से अच्छी अंदर से धोखा, बाहर से बड़ी खूबसूरत अंदर से बहुत गलीज. Karbala took away the niqab of the world. In one day, Imam Hussein, for all eternity, yawm al-qiyamah, tamam dunya ke hijabat hata diye मौला. अब हर चीज साफ सामने है. जो करबला के सफर पे चले इमाम हुसैन के काफिले में, और आज भी चल सकते हैं आप, वो जानता है इस दुनिया की हकीकत क्या है, जो वाकईन अज़ादार है. एक दिन का नहीं, कभी कभार नहीं, हर वक्त हुसैन का जो अज़ादार है. फी क़ुलूबिल मुमिन हरारतुन, जिसके अंदर हरारत हर वक्त रहती है गम हुसैन के लिए. It showed you the value system of the world. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that this is what is important and the world was going to hide what is important around all these deceptions, Imam Hussein's sacrifice, and this is why Allah deemed it necessary कि एक अमल ऐसा हो that will undeniably show the existence of Tawheed, for no one would sacrifice all in such a way. A man of such intellect, wisdom, might and power, ability and qualities would not sacrifice everything he has for something that did not exist. He proves the existence of Allah. He proves what is most valuable and important in this world. What should be the most valuable entity? And it is the maqsad of Imam Hussein. And he says, ki jisne tujhe pa liya, usne kya khoya. This is value. He has put on top Allah. That he has put Tawheed on top and said, nothing is more valuable than this. Look at Ashur and you will see that. Then we come to the maqsad of intizar, maqsad of our existence, maqsad of Karbala, maqsad of intizar. If we have understood only those who understand the maqsad of their existence, the purpose of their existence, will tie themselves to Karbala. Because they will see that in Karbala is everything that fulfills their existence. And there is nijat, and there is shifat, and there is ilm, and there is hilm, and there is a lesson for all the qualities that are needed. Wafa, shuja'at, qurbani, ita'at, muhabbat. And when we see Karbala is nothing but muhabbat, Hussein's hub for his Rabb, the hub of all around Hussein for Hussein. This is a channel of love that is the maqsad of Karbala. Once we have achieved the maqsad of Karbala and there is that love in our heart, now Allah tests us. And hub is tested by no better way than intizar. Intizar hai mohabbat ka imtihan, iske ilawa kuch nahi. اور اس انتظار کے ذریعے سے اللہ ہمارے محبت کا امتحان لے رہا ہے. اور صدیاں گزرتی جائیں گی, زندگیاں گزرتی جائیں گی, ہر لمحے ہم اپنی موت کے قریب جائیں گے. لیکن ہاں, جو واقعاً اپنے امام کا انتظار کر رہا ہے وہ وہی ہوگا جس کے دل میں وہ حب ہوگی, جس کے دل میں عشق ہوگا. کیونکہ عشق ہے ہی انتظار, کہ جب عشق ہوتا ہے تو انسان انتظار کرتا ہے, کیونکہ اب کوئی اور چیز اچھی نہیں لگتی سوائے اس کے جو نظروں میں نہیں ہے. اور انتظار میں ہے ہی نظر, دیکھنا دیکھنا. اور سلام ہے اس ننھی شہزادی پر جو شام کے زندان کے باہر کھڑے ہو کے انتظار کیا کرتی تھی اور دیکھتی رہتی تھی, راہ پہ دیکھتی رہتی تھی اور کہتی تھی کہ یہ پرندے کہاں جا رہے ہیں بھیا. بھیا کہتے تھے یہ اپنے گھر کو لوٹ رہے ہیں سکینہ. سکینہ بھی کہتی تھی کہ بھیا ہم کیا اپنے گھر کو کبھی جائیں گے. ہاں سکینہ, ایک دن آئے گا اپنے گھر کو ہم لوٹیں گے. اور سکینہ اس کا انتظار کرتی تھی, سکینہ اس بابا کا انتظار کرتی تھی. حسین بھی امام ہیں اور آج کے حسین بھی پردہ غیب میں ہیں. اللہ ہمیں توفیق دے کہ جیسے سکینہ نے اس امام کا انتظار کیا, ہم بھی اپنے امام کا انتظار کریں. سلام ہے اس شہزادی پر کہ جب آپ جاتے ہیں ایک روضے پر, یہ جملے کہتے ہیں السلام علیکی ایتھا التقیۃ النقیہ, سلام آپ پر اے تقیہ, اے نقیہ بی بی سلام. لگتا ہے کوئی بہت بزرگ ہستی ہیں جن کی روزے پہ آپ آئے ہیں, جن کو ایسا سلام کر رہے ہیں. السلام علیکی ایتھا الکریمۃ البہیہ, سلام آپ پر اے کریم شہزادی. یہ کون ہے جس کو امام نے کہا کہ اس طرح سلام کرو؟ تقیہ ہے, نقیہ ہے, کریم شہزادی ہے. شاید کوئی بہت بزرگ ہوں گی, بہت بزرگ ہستی ہوں گی, لیکن پھر آپ کہتے ہیں کہ السلام علیکی ایتھا الفاضلۃ الصغیرہ, سلام آپ پر اے وہ بیوی جس نے کم سنی میں ایسے فضائل جمع کر لیے, جس نے کم سنی میں ایسی فضیلت پالی. تو پھر سمجھ میں آتا ہے نہیں, یہ تو حسین کی ننھی سکینہ کی قبر ہے, یہ تو حسین کی شہزادی کا روضہ ہے, یہ تو وہ سکینہ ہے, وہ سکینہ ہے جس کے لیے آپ کہتے ہیں السلام علیکی ایتھا الاسیرۃ فی البلدان, سلام آپ پر اے شہزادی جس کو اسیر بنا کے, قیدن بنا کے شہر در شہر پھرایا گیا. السلام علیکی ایتھل بعیدۃ عن الاوطان، سلام آپ پر اے شہزادی جس کو اپنے وطن سے بہت دور لے جا کے دفنایا گیا. السلام علیکی ایتھل، اللہ اکبر، یا ممتحنۃ بامتحان العظیمہ، سلام آپ پر اے شہزادی جس نے اتنی کم سنی کے عالم میں اتنے عظیم عظیم امتحان دیے. السلام علیکی من ماتت من شدت الشوقی فی محبتی سید الشہداء، سلام آپ پر اے شہزادی جس کی شہادت واقع ہوئی اس وجہ سے کہ سکینہ کے جگر، بابا کے غم میں سکینہ کا جگر پارا پارا ہو گیا تھا، پارا پارا ہو گیا تھا. کہا کہ جب دنیا میں لوگ اپنے عزیز و اقربا کو کوئی گزرتا ہے تکلیف سے، بیماری سے، ہسپتال میں، تو اس میں سے تمام نالیاں، ٹیوبز اور آلے جو ہسپتال میں لگائے ہوتے نکالے جاتے ہیں. جو اپنے جانے والے کو دیکھ رہا ہوتا ہے دیکھتا ہے کہیں نیل پڑا ہے، کہیں کوئی زخمی، کہیں سوراخ ہوا ہے، کہیں کچھ آلہ ڈالا تھا، برداشت نہیں ہوتا. حالانکہ وہ بڑے سکون سے ہسپتال میں ہوتے ہیں، تکلیف میں ہوتے ہیں، لیکن کوئی دشمن تو نہیں ہوتا وہاں پہ، کوئی شمر تو نہیں ہوتا وہاں پہ، زندان ہوتا ہے. ارے سلام ہے اس سجاد پہ. دنیا والے آج کے دور میں کیا کیا آلے نکالتے ہیں اپنے جانے والوں میں. یہ سجاد ہیں کہ کیا اٹھا رہے ہیں سکینہ کے ہاتھوں سے، کچھ اور نہیں ہے، سکینہ کے بابا کا سر ہے، سکینہ کے بابا کا سر ہے جس کو سکینہ نے سینہ سے لگا کے روتے روتے اچانک جب خاموشی آ گئی تو سب کہنے لگے کیا ہوا سکینہ، کیا ہوا، تم کچھ بول نہیں رہی. ایک دکھیاری ماں نے کہا، سلام اس ماں پہ جس نے کہا کہ اب کچھ مت بولو، سکینہ کے پاس بابا آ گئے ہیں، میری سکینہ سو گئی ہے. وہ کون سی سکینہ؟ سلام اس سکینہ پر کہ ایک وقت تھا عاشور سے پہلے کہ سکینہ کا بستر جو تھا بابا کا سینہ تھا. بابا کے سینے پہ مانند تعویذ حسین سکینہ سویا کرتی تھی. یہ امام کا سینہ تھا، لوح محفوظ پہ سونے والی سکینہ. اس کے بعد اب سکینہ زندان کی ٹھنڈی زمین پر سوتی ہے. سلام ان گالوں پر جس پر حسین بوسے دیا کرتے تھے، اب سجاد اٹھاتے ہیں تو دیکھتے ہیں گال بھی نیلے ہو گئے ہیں. سلام اس گلے پر جس نے بوسوں کے علاوہ کچھ نہ دیکھا لیکن اب رسن کے نشان ہے. سلام ان بالوں پر جن میں ام رباب کنگھی کیا کرتی تھی لیکن اب لگتا ہے مدتوں سے ماں کے ہاتھ بندھے ہوئے تھے اور بالوں میں ریت جمع ہو گئی ہے. سلام اس سکینہ پر اور اس سجاد پر جس نے اپنی بہن کو اسی کرتے میں دفن کیا کہ نہ کفن غسل ہو سکتا تھا، نہ کچھ ہو سکتا تھا، کہ وہ کرتا اس شہزادی کی جلد کے ساتھ پیوست ہو گیا تھا. فَسَيَعْلَمُ الَّذِينَ ظَلَمُوا أَيَّ مُنْقَلَبٍ يَنْقَلِبُونَ أَلَا لَعْنَةُ اللَّهِ عَلَى الْقَوْمِ الظَّالِمِينَ.
جزاک اللہ ڈاکٹر شیبہ رضوی صاحب. ممنین اب زیارت ہوگی اور اس کے بعد کویشچن آنسر کا سیشن ہوگا. متوجہ زیارت. السلام علیکم یا ابا عبداللہ، السلام علیکم ابن رسول اللہ، السلام علیکم وعلا جدک وابیک، السلام علیکم وعلا امک واخیک، السلام علیکم ابو الفضل العباس، السلام علیکم یا حر شہید، السلام علیکم مسلم ابن عقیل، السلام علیکم جمیع شہداء کربلا ورحمۃ اللہ وبرکاتہ، السلام علیکم یا غریب الغرباء، السلام علیکم یا معین الضعفاء والفقراء، السلام علیکم یا صاحب عرب و عجم، السلام علیکم یا ابو الحسن یا علی ابن موسی رضا الراضی بالقدر والقضاء رحمۃ اللہ وبرکاتہ، السلام علیکم یا صاحب عصر والزمان، الامان 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 من فتنة الزمان، السلام علیکم یا شریک القرآن، السلام علیکم یا امام الانس والجان، عجل اللہ تعالیٰ فرجک، سہل اللہ تعالیٰ مخرجک، ظہورک ورحمۃ اللہ وبرکاتہ. اللہم صلی علی محمد وعلی محمد وعجل فرجہم.
مومنین السلام علیکم. آپ سب لوگوں سے معروضہ ہے کہ انشاءاللہ یہ پہلے تو میری دعا ہے کہ یہ مجلس کا ثواب محمد چچا اور سریہ چچی ماں کو پہنچے انشاءاللہ. اور آپ سب لوگوں سے معروضہ ہے ایک سورہ فاتحہ سید ابو الحسن جعفری ابن سید محمد حسن جعفری اور سیدہ سریہ بیگم کے لیے پڑھ کے بخش دیجیے. جزاک اللہ.